Have you ever wondered why seniors avoid social interactions more as they age, stepping back from the lively gatherings they once loved? If you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, you might have noticed this shift in yourself. Those bustling family dinners, friendly coffee chats, or community events don't hold the same appeal they used to, and you find yourself craving quieter moments instead. Let me assure you, this change is not only normal, but it's a sign of the wisdom you've gained over the years. I've spent decades working with seniors across the United States and Canada, and I've seen how these shifts in social habits reflect a deeper understanding of what truly matters as we grow older. In this video, we'll dive into 9 heartfelt reasons behind this change, from protecting your emotional well-being to finding joy in your own company, and why these choices are a beautiful part of aging. These insights will help you see that stepping back isn't about isolation. It's about embracing a life that feels more meaningful for you. This change in how you connect with others is a natural part of your journey, one that comes with a newfound clarity about your needs. You're not pulling away out of bitterness or loneliness. You're growing into a version of yourself that values peace, authenticity, and the relationships that truly resonate with your heart. I've watched so many people at this stage let go of the pressure to always be social, realizing that it's okay to choose moments that nourish their spirit over ones that drain it. This acceptance isn't a loss, it's a gain, a sign that you're listening to your inner voice, honoring the life you've built, and making space for what brings you genuine joy as you age. You might be wondering why seniors avoid social interactions so often, and I'm here to tell you that this shift isn't something to feel guilty about. It's a completely normal part of growing older. When you were younger, being surrounded by people might have felt like second nature, whether it was chatting with neighbors, hosting big family dinners, or joining every community event that came your way. But as you move into your 60s, 70s, or beyond, you might find that those social settings start to feel less appealing, maybe even overwhelming, and you're drawn to quieter moments instead. This doesn't mean you've stopped caring about people, nor does it mean you're becoming distant. It's simply a reflection of the wisdom you've gained over the years, a sign that you're tuning into what truly nourishes your spirit. You're beginning to see that your time and energy are precious, and you'd rather spend them on moments that bring you peace, rather than forcing yourself into situations that leave you feeling drained. It's like choosing a warm, cozy sweater over a flashy outfit. You're picking what feels right for you now, not what others expect. You might notice that a crowded gathering doesn't spark the same excitement it once did, or that you'd rather enjoy a peaceful evening at home than navigate a noisy event. This change isn't about shutting others out. It's about opening up to a new way of living, one that honors your needs and respects the rhythm of your life at this stage. By stepping back, you're not losing connection. You're gaining clarity, learning to prioritize your well-being in a way that feels authentic and true to who you are today, allowing you to live more fully in the moments that truly matter to you. As you recognize that stepping back from social interactions is a normal part of aging, you might also notice a growing desire to protect your emotions from new hurts, a quiet instinct that comes with the wisdom of experience. Over the years, you've likely faced your share of emotional challenges. Maybe a friend let you down, a family member dismissed your feelings, or a moment of vulnerability was met with judgment instead of understanding. Those experiences, big or small, leave a mark, and as you age, you become more aware of how much they've shaped the way you approach relationships. You're not as quick to open up as you once were, not because you're bitter, but because you've learned to be discerning, to guard your heart against the kind of pain that can linger. This isn't about building walls. It's about setting gentle boundaries that keep your spirit safe. You might find yourself hesitating before joining a new group, wondering if the people there will truly value your presence, or pulling back from a relationship that feels one-sided, knowing it could leave you feeling unappreciated. It's like tending a garden. You're careful about what you let take root, choosing to nurture only what helps you grow. You've lived long enough to know that not everyone deserves a front row seat in your life. And that's a powerful realization, one that allows you to focus on connections that feel genuine and safe. By protecting your emotions, you're not shutting down. You're making space for relationships that honor your worth, ones where you can share your heart without fear of being hurt. A choice that reflects the deep care you have for your own well-being as you navigate this chapter of life. With this instinct to protect your emotions guiding your choices, you might also find yourself drawn to a deep longing for peace that outweighs the appeal of shallow conversations. In your younger years, you might have sat through endless chats about the weather, local gossip, or small talk that filled the silence, but left your heart untouched, smiling politely to keep things pleasant. But as you age, your patience for those kinds of exchanges begins to fade. Not because you don't care, but because you've come to cherish the serenity that quiet moments bring. You've discovered that silence isn't something to fear, it's a gift, a chance to rest, reflect, and simply be without the pressure to perform or entertain. You might find yourself skipping gatherings where the talk feels forced, choosing instead to spend an evening with a good book, a warm drink, or the soft sounds of nature outside your window. It's like choosing a still lake over a rushing river. You're drawn to the calm, not the chaos. You're not avoiding people out of disdain. You're seeking meaning, craving conversations that touch on what's real, like shared memories, heartfelt dreams, or the kind of laughter that comes from truly understanding each other. If those deeper exchanges aren't on the table, you'd rather savor the stillness of your own company, where you don't have to pretend or fill the air with words that don't matter. Why seniors avoid socializing after 60 often comes down to this simple truth. At this stage, you value your peace more than ever, and you're not willing to trade it for interactions that leave you feeling empty. This choice isn't about turning away from others. It's about turning toward what truly fills your soul, embracing the quiet strength that comes with knowing what you need to feel at ease in your daily life. As you prioritize peace over shallow conversations, you might also notice a growing sense that others don't truly understand you, a feeling that can make social interactions feel more isolating than fulfilling. In your earlier years, you might have felt more in sync with the people around you, sharing similar experiences, goals, and perspectives that made connecting easy. But as you age, the world changes, language shifts, values evolve, and the fast pace of modern life can feel overwhelming, leaving you with a quiet ache of being unseen. You might share a story from your past, hoping to spark a meaningful conversation, only to notice others nodding politely while their eyes drift to their phones. Or you might express a concern and feel it's brushed off as unimportant. Those moments, though small, add up, and over time they can make you feel like your voice no longer matters, like you're speaking a language others can't hear. Senior social isolation reasons after 60 often include this subtle disconnection, where you're surrounded by people but still feel invisible, not because they mean to dismiss you, but because they don't take the time to truly listen. It's like trying to sing a song in a room full of noise. No one hears the melody. When you feel misunderstood, it's natural to pull back, to seek safety in your own company, where you don't have to justify your thoughts or feelings. This isn't about giving up on connection. It's about protecting your sense of self, choosing to share your heart only with those who make the effort to truly see you. You're learning that your wisdom, Your experiences and your emotions are precious, and they deserve to be met with understanding, not indifference, as you navigate this chapter of life with a newfound appreciation for those who truly hear you. As you seek spaces where you feel truly understood, you might also find yourself stepping back for a reason that's harder to voice. A quiet fear of becoming a burden to those you care about, a concern that grows as you age. You've spent a lifetime being strong, raising families, supporting friends, or managing responsibilities with grace. And now, as your needs shift, the thought of relying on others can feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. Maybe you notice your mobility isn't what it used to be, or you need help with small tasks, and the idea of asking for support makes you hesitate, not because you doubt their love, but because you don't want to feel like a weight on their busy lives. You might decline invitations to gatherings, worried that your slower pace or need for assistance will inconvenience someone. Or you might hold back from sharing your struggles, afraid it will add to their load. It's like choosing to carry a heavy bag alone rather than asking for a hand. You'd rather manage on your own than risk feeling like a bother. You value your independence so deeply that the thought of being seen as dependent feels like a loss, even if those around you would gladly help. This fear isn't about mistrust, it's about self-respect, a desire to be loved freely, not out of obligation. So you create distance, not because you don't want connection, but because you want to protect your dignity and preserve the ease in your relationships. You're choosing to step back to keep the balance, ensuring your presence feels like a joy, not a duty, reflecting the deep care you have for both yourself and those you hold dear at this stage of life. With this fear of being a burden guiding your choices, you might also notice the natural fading of old relationships, a quiet shift that happens as life unfolds. Over the years, you've built countless connections, friends from work, neighbors you laughed with, or companions who shared the same season of life, like raising kids or navigating careers. But as time passes, those ties often loosen, not because of arguments or bitterness, but because paths diverge in subtle ways you barely notice until they're gone. You might realize that the weekly walks you once took with a friend have turned into yearly catch-ups, and then one day they stop altogether, leaving behind a gentle sense of closure rather than pain. It's like watching a river carve a new course. The flow changes and you both move on. Maybe your interests have shifted, or their life has taken a new direction with family, travel, or hobbies that no longer align with yours, and the closeness you once shared feels like a memory rather than a present reality. This fading isn't a failure. It's a natural part of growing older, where you both outgrow the shared moments that once held you together. You're not mourning the loss as much as you're accepting that some relationships belong to a chapter that's closed, making room for new ones that fit who you are now. You might find yourself reflecting on those past connections with a soft smile, grateful for what they gave you, but at peace with letting them go, knowing they served their purpose in your life's story. This acceptance allows you to focus on the relationships that still feel vibrant, the ones that grow with you, even as you age, offering a sense of ease and connection that doesn't require forcing what no longer fits. As you let go of relationships that have naturally faded, you might find yourself drawn to a new priority in your connections, seeking honesty and authenticity, a shift that shapes why you're stepping back from some social interactions. In your younger years, you might have been more willing to overlook surface-level friendships, smiling through conversations that lack depth, or brushing off moments of insincerity to keep the peace. But as you age, you start to crave something more real, relationships where you can be your true self without pretense, where words are spoken with genuine care, not just to fill the silence. You've lived long enough to know that life is too short for connections that don't feel honest. and you're no longer willing to spend your energy on interactions that leave you questioning someone's sincerity. You might pull back from a friend who only calls when they need something, or step away from a group where the laughter feels forced, choosing instead to nurture bonds with those who see you for who you are and value your presence without expecting you to be anything else. It's like sifting through a drawer to keep only what fits. You're holding on to the relationships that feel true and letting go of the rest. This shift isn't about judgment. It's about clarity, a desire to surround yourself with people who share your values and speak from the heart. You might find that a single, honest conversation with a loved one, where you both share your true thoughts and feelings, brings more joy than a dozen superficial chats ever could. By prioritizing authenticity, you're creating a social circle that feels safe and meaningful, one where you can be fully yourself, knowing that those around you will meet your honesty with their own, offering a depth of connection that truly enriches your life at this stage. As you seek out these honest, meaningful connections, you might also discover the unexpected joy of being on your own, a peace that becomes more precious as you age. In your earlier years, solitude might have felt like something to avoid, a sign of loneliness that needed fixing with constant company, whether through family gatherings, social events, or quick visits with friends. But now, you're finding that time alone isn't something to fear. It's a sanctuary, a space where you can breathe freely, reflect deeply, and simply be, without the need to explain yourself or meet anyone's expectations. You might find yourself savoring the stillness of a morning spent watching the sunrise, or losing track of time as you tend to a garden, feeling a quiet contentment that no crowd could ever bring. Why seniors enjoy solitude after 60 often comes down to this. You've discovered the beauty of your own company, the way it allows you to reconnect with your thoughts, your memories, and the parts of yourself you might have set aside in busier years. It's like finding a hidden room in a house you've lived in forever. There's a comfort in exploring it, in knowing it's yours alone. You're not choosing solitude because you've given up on people. You're choosing it because you've learned that your presence is enough, that you don't need to fill every moment with others to feel whole. This joy isn't about isolation, it's about fulfillment. A chance to recharge your spirit and listen to the inner voice that speaks most clearly when you're alone, guiding you toward a life that feels truly yours at this stage, where every quiet moment becomes a precious gift. You've likely uncovered a new perspective on the social shifts you've experienced, tying together the reasons we've explored for why you might be stepping back from interactions. We've talked about how accepting these changes reflects your growth, how avoiding social interactions can be a normal part of aging, and how you're protecting your emotions from new hurts while seeking peace over shallow chatter. We've also explored the feeling of being misunderstood, the fear of becoming a burden, the natural fading of old relationships, the importance of honesty in your connections, and the deep fulfillment that solitude can bring. Each of these reasons shows that your choice to step back isn't a sign of withdrawal. It's a sign of wisdom, a reflection of how you're learning to live in a way that honors your heart and your needs. You've earned the right to let go of guilt, to choose peace over pressure, and to focus on what truly matters, whether that's a quiet moment alone or a meaningful conversation with someone who truly sees you. I'd love to hear what resonated with you most. What's one way you'll embrace this new perspective, perhaps by setting a boundary that protects your peace, or savoring a morning of solitude with a favorite ritual, like sipping tea while watching the birds. Drop a comment below. I read every one and cherish your insights because your story matters. If this video spoke to you, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Wise Wellness Path for more wisdom to enrich your golden years. Here's to a life filled with peace, authenticity, and the freedom to be exactly who you are, surrounded by the connections and the quiet that bring you the deepest joy at this beautiful stage of life.